Now at 6, people all over the state are picking up the pieces left behind by this weekend's powerful storms. You're seeing some of the damage here. Uprooted trees, some of them crashing into buildings and homes. There was hail, significant hail, and then, of course, lots and lots of rain. That might wind up being the biggest threat. Tonight, we've got more rain moving through the area. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Tim Lammers. There's now a threat of flash flooding, which is why we have a weather impact alert in effect for the state. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank with more on what we can expect.
Yeah, for most of the state, Tim, this is a much needed, beneficial, soaking rain. We are in a moderate drought, but again, some places are getting a little bit too much of a good thing. In fact, it looks like the Still River at Brookfield is officially in flood stage right now. Heavy rain has already been ongoing in parts of northern Fairfield County, and some towns have already picked up 3 to as much as 5 inches of rain. And of course, it is still raining. So again, that flood warning for northern Fairfield County. We're also seeing areas of heavy rain around Waterbury and Naugatuck, and that's pivoting north. A little bit of a break for the heavy stuff in Guilford and Brantford, but you can see more coming in off of Long Island Sound, and we're seeing some moderate to heavy rain right now in southeastern Connecticut too. So we'll continue to see these bands kind of morph and pivot as we head through the coming hours. Notice it almost looks like there's a force field up in northern Litchfield County with some drier air pushing in on the northern side of this storm. Here's a look at rainfall totals already, anywhere between just around an inch in Windsor Locks and the Hartford area, all the way up to 3 inches for New Haven and 4.5 inches of rain in Danbury. And again, it's still coming down. So that flood watch continues technically through around 2 o'clock Tuesday. I think we could still see some showers or locally heavier downpour into tomorrow morning. After that, the showers should be lighter in nature, and I think the flooding threat will go down. But check your sump pump. Make sure you have a way of getting weather alerts just in case. Now, for many, they come directly to our phone from the National Weather Service, and use extra time if you need to travel. We'll check back in again in just a bit, Tim.
And it's been a busy, busy day for people affected by the weekend storm. And for a lot of them, the goal is just to get the lights back on. Looks like we're making some progress, though. About an hour ago, Eversource was showing about 20,000 customers still in the dark. We're now down in the 17,000 range. Granted, some towns are feeling it worse than others. You can see the southwestern part of the state really got hit hard. New Fairfield, Salisbury, they got about 30 to 40% of their customers out. Harwinton, too. People are dealing with downed power lines, trees blocking roads, and damage to their homes. So let's get you out to Fox 61's Jamel Johnson. He is live in Harwinton with a look at the conditions. Jamel, does not look good behind you.
Yeah, Tim, it does not look good behind me. As you can see, I mean, we have a lot of debris here. Just the aftermath is really crazy. It looks like a tornado swept through here. As you can see, we have this power line that's not quite all the way down, but it's dangerously close to the ground. So you really have to be careful if you're walking through here or even driving. And as you can see, you have all these trees. And then you can just see right behind me, you have this, this power grid just kind of falling onto itself, and then just a little bit further down, just a tree uprooted straight from the ground. So that's pretty much everything you see out here in Harwinton. This is just a little portion of it. Everybody that I spoke with, all the neighbors out here, are just trying to sort through all this damage.
This area is unrecognizable to those who live on Lead Mine Brook Road. Some were lucky their house stood out of harm's way. Others, like Zachary Shims, are wondering where they can go from here.
I mean, my house is, like, you can tell, pretty much obliterated, so it's like starting fresh.
Like many people, Shims was out celebrating the 4th of July when the storm hit. When he got back, he saw a tree fell on top of his house.
It took me like 3 hours to get home. I had to park about a half a mile away to walk across power lines and streams to get to my house. Yeah, I was pretty shocked. I went in to kind of save my dog. Obviously, he was in there by himself. Pretty insane. Stuff like this doesn't happen around here.
Some roads are still shut down as crews clear up down power lines, trees, and other debris from the roads.
It just looks like an apocalypse. You can't even really digest what's happening. Still in disbelief and shock.
Down the road, we found an older neighbor, Henry Patnode, who wasn't able to see the damage to his home until early Sunday morning.
I had to sleep in my car because the roads were all closed. I couldn't get home. Oh, not like this. The last one, it was in the winter. We were out without power for like a week. But that was like the snow and the ice and stuff. We had no really big tree damage, but this was This was amazing.
Patno doesn't have power, so he is using a generator to keep his house running. First Selectman Michael Chris has been in contact with Eversource, which is sending crews from neighboring states to help with cleanup.
We got probably about 5 to 7 miles of wire down. We got more than 40 poles that are broken. I would not be surprised if we have to wait till the weekend to finally get the rest of it up and running.
Now, some in Harwinton still don't have power, just like on this street. These people don't have power, as you can still see really from all these down power lines. Eversource hasn't really come through to get these up, but many people in Harwinton have started to get power back, and it's a big progress has been made since the actual 4th of July when this happened. 90% of people were without power, so still kind of slowly but surely getting back to normal here. And a lot of public works workers are trying to help Eversource clear the road so they can get those power lines back up and people can get back to normal. But like I said, a lot of people are still using generators, kind of going old school with this thing. But for now in Harwinton, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
In this round of heavy rain has a lot of people thinking back to what happened 2 summers ago when a similar storm caused devastation across much of the state. We've told you the story of a Southbury chicken farm owner who lost so much of her farm in that storm and had to rebuild it all. Well, today, Fox 61's Alicia Hercules revisited that farm and found out why this rain is bringing nothing but stress and trauma back to the owner.
Kathy Dibner rebuilt her barn in March of last year after a devastating flood destroyed it in 2024. Since then, storms like this have left her worried that her chickens and other barn animals could be in danger of drowning if another major storm hits.
It's very traumatic.
Dibner says rain like what the state has been seeing over the past few days is triggering for her and her family.
Actually, my daughter and I suffer from PTSD. So when we had the big storm a couple days ago, it was hard for both of us.
The devastating flood that swept through the Naugatuck Valley in 2024 damaged several homes and businesses. During the flood, more than 100 chickens at Dibner Farms drowned when her barn collapsed.
You know, I lost every animal that I had originally.
With support from the community, she was able to rebuild her barn and get some new chickens. She also added goats to her growing barn family. But even 2 years later, she says flooding on the property has remained a huge issue.
There's so much water back here right now, and my barn floods. And we have water coming from every direction.
She says every rainstorm causes her barn to flood, leaving her to take on difficult cleaning efforts on her own.
And I have to clean out each pen individually and shovel all of wet sand and shavings, which is very heavy.
Dibner says she's been holding out hope for help from the state, but hasn't had much luck.
They have not taken responsibility for the culvert collapsing, which should have been redone many, many years ago. It just couldn't handle all the water flow.
Between the constant flooding, her full-time job, and her husband's recent cancer diagnosis, Dibner says maintaining the property has become more difficult. As the rain continues to fall, she says she's bracing for the worst.
We don't know what's going to happen. You know, 1 o'clock in the morning comes around, tomorrow morning, what's going to happen? Is it the same thing? Is it going to be a replay?
As more rain is expected to hit the state over the next few days, Dibner says she remains focused on protecting her animals. She says she's preparing to move them to higher ground to keep them safe and dry. In Southbury, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
Alicia, thank you. In Torrington, crews are still working to clear debris, open roads, and restore power just a day after a local state of emergency was declared for that area. So as crews work, officials are asking people to follow some important safety precautions, including staying away from downed power lines, steering clear of road closures and barricades, practicing good generator safety, and ensuring that your home has carbon monoxide detectors. As the rain continues, remember, you can stay up to date on all things weather-related by using the Fox 61 app. You can stream the live radar 24/7 no matter where you are. You can also turn on push notifications to get the latest conditions and weather impact alerts. And all of this rain is putting a bit of a damper on the watch party for the U.S. men's team in tonight's World Cup match. The outdoor part of the watch party on Pratt Street in Hartford was canceled because of the rain, but city leaders said they're not going to let it ruin the excitement for the red, white, and blue because they said inside both Vaughn's Pub and Urban Lodge will be open to all and will be showing the games. Speaking of, the U.S. is playing Belgium in a round of 16 knockout round matchup in Seattle, and it comes as FIFA's appeals committee weighed in on a very controversial decision regarding one of America's top scorers, Flo Balogun. Sarah Allegre has more on that.
Well, it's another must-win match for the American men, but this one has been surrounded by controversy.
He deserves to play. 100%.
With a spot in the quarterfinals on the line, the U.S. has top scorer Flo Balogun available for tonight's round of 16 match against Belgium. FIFA's appeals committee rejected Belgium's appeal against a decision to lift the striker's red card suspension, saying it had no standing to challenge its call. The Belgian Soccer Federation says it's still asking for an explanation.
Belgium, I think, fairly and not unexpectedly, is not happy about this, and they certainly can do whatever they feel is appropriate in order to try to change this.
The red card was originally reversed after President Trump urged FIFA to review the case.
I didn't think it was a foul. I thought it was two great athletes that crashed into each other.
FIFA's president says these decisions are made independently, adding, quote, respect for independent institutions and the rule of law is what protects the integrity of our competitions and the credibility of FIFA at all times. It appears to be the first time since the 1962 World Cup that a red card did not result in a suspension.
For Belgium, if they're good enough, they'll beat them with or without him. And if they're not, then they won't.
With Balogun available to play, fans are excited to cheer on the U.S. right here in the Emerald City.
It's amazing, the fact that they pulled back the red card and we get to go at it.
And for fans looking for last-minute tickets, it looks like the cheapest ones are going for $1,400 on resale sites. In Seattle, Sarah Legray, Fox 61.
And a reminder, you can watch the U.S. play Belgium on Fox 61 tonight. The pregame show has already started. The game kicks off at 8, and we are your home for every World Cup match from here straight through to the championship. And moving on, 6 people, unfortunately, now without a home because of a fire in Norwich. Fire officials said around midnight, crews responded to a home on Gardner Acres Road. Firefighters said the flames were in an attached garage, and it began to spread to the main part of the home. The family of 6 was able to get out safely, and officials are now investigating how that fire started.